Tyler, what am I calling you? Daddy Webb? Mr. Webb?
I'm Daddy
Mr.
Webb.
Webb.
He's Mr.
Daddy?
Well, he's got the shirt on.
That's from...
It's the Supreme. It's like the Supreme box logo, but it just says Daddy.
I could see that, yeah.
Oh man. Here we go. Ty, you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Live from Mr. Webb's mother's basement. The Splitting Atoms podcast. I say this every week. I'm hoping this is the first one that we actually publish on YouTube. So
Maybe you should record one and then just overlay it on there.
overlay it. Yeah. So with me is Kevin, GT3 Space Cadet.
Something like that. I'll go by Kevin. Kevin's good.
Dan. As always, Mr. Webb, and I'm Daddy Webb. We had a lot go on the last couple of weeks. I already got topics for the next podcast. It's going to be Kevin's track day.
Force him to do it.
Yeah, if he does it, he keeps getting rained
A
out.
lot of hype. A lot of hype for this.
And then the next one is going to be Mr. Webb's car search, which we're hoping is on hiatus for a couple of years. But I want to kind of talk about like the price range and what's available out there. And it was kind of interesting when I started like just searching by actual price, what you can get for his price range. But this one's going to be about the Blue Ridge Gathering that Dan and I went down to Tennessee a couple of weeks ago. It was the week after 4th of July. And it was a good time, man. The weather was great. We had a lot of fun.
I think the weather was the best that I've ever had attending that gathering, by far.
Yeah, I think that's going to kind of ruin it for me because like this was maybe the pinnacle of weather. And
I think it
like,
was.
the next couple
It
of
wasn't
years.
even that humid. It was
Yeah.
perfect. It was like 85 every day, sunny.
Yeah.
No
set
rain in the
bar
forecast.
high, I guess, for now.
Super high bar.
Yeah. So Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit like Blue Ridge Gathering, like what it is? I know you've been going. How long you've been going?
I've been going since about 2009.
Yep.
So, 15 years now?
Yeah.
It started out in the late 90s, a 3000 GT Dodge Stealth gathering in the mountains. There's a big gathering called the NG, like National Gathering, and it takes place in Virginia or Maryland or somewhere like that. And it's hundreds of these cars. But there's a lot of people in Virginia, Georgia, like the surrounding states there. And so they started gathering around Pigeon Forge and then driving down, doing the Dragon. And it kind of just sort of evolved, as time went on and as the cars broke or sold or people moved on, got different cars, different families. And so now it's basically this big gathering of friends. I think there was 120 plus people that went this past trip. And
Didn't feel that big. I would, I guess, like 50 people.
some people show up like, there's definitely a core group of people that are always hanging out, but then you'll have people that are staying off site or are kind of cliquey, and they only show up for the Sunday or Saturday night kind of festivities.
Yeah. You've gone every year for 15 years?
Not every year, but we've gone at least the past 5-6 years in a row. I've gone, multiple times before that, so I should count my shirts up because I've never actually counted how many times I've gone, but it's well over 10 times.
Yeah.
And it's evolved from driving my own car to driving a regular car down or trailering the bike, and then this year, of course, trailering the car
Yeah.
in an enclosed, which was a step above last year trailering around an open trailer. Big evolution there.
Yeah. How was that different with the enclosed trailer versus the open trailer? Just less worry about like...
I didn't worry about the weather, but it was much harder to tow down, actually.
The enclosed trailer?
Yeah, so last year when we towed the Atom, and the year before that we towed the Corvette, I got, almost the same miles per gallon as normal. I could go 80 miles an hour, no problem.
And you
This
could see
time,
probably behind
I could
you.
see everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much wind resistance the enclosed trailers actually give, even with the V-nose. So, I'm I'm so glad that I didn't tow down with my old gas Dodge Ram. So I don't think it would have made it. Like those hills by Asheville,
Yeah.
there was something else.
We met up at like 2:00 on Tuesday in Chelmsford, and we drove straight through 20 hours, I think, by the time. I mean, we had like my truck. You had a diesel. I had a Silverado, or it's a GMC, whatever that is, 1500, and I was getting about 11 miles per gallon. And I had only. It's got a small tank. Like every year, they make these tanks like smaller and smaller. So I only had 290 to 260, depending on the hills, like max range.
Wow.
So we did like 5 stops on the way down. Then when we got close, we stopped at a grocery store. That was like an hour. And then another, 40 minutes probably.
Yeah. So from that grocery store down to Fontana, which is where the gathering is, pretty hilly, pretty curvy. I actually went off the road at one point. Rose was like, "What the hell was that?" Because it felt like the trailer braked automatically, but
Yeah.
it just went off the road.
Yeah, no big
So
deal.
just kept going.
No biggie.
You had a big diesel. It powered it through. But next year, I'm going to do something totally different if I go, which I'm planning on, I am planning on going. I think what I'm going to do is leave Tuesday morning at like 4 a.m. or something like that, drive as far as I can, and then wake up at like 6 a.m., maybe meet you guys somewhere close, and then do the last couple hours. Because it was rough. Actually, the drive down was really uneventful for me. I mean, it was easy. It was just long. But there was not much traffic. I mean, there was a little bit of road construction, but other than that. And actually driving down, I felt good. Driving back at night, which I was opposite. I thought it was going to be...
So driving there, which was overnight,
was fine.
you thought was fine.
Yeah, I thought that was fine.
But driving back, yeah.
Driving back, I think it was because we were up late, like not late, but like 11:30 the night before. We had a couple drinks because there was a party, and then I woke up at 5:30, and then driving back like a couple times I was thinking about being like, hey, I'm gonna pull off and sleep, but I wasn't tired, like I wasn't nodding off, but I just felt like delirious, like.
Yeah, the worst is going through New York, Pennsylvania at 8, 9 o'clock at night. You get home at 2 a.m. That's rough.
So my plan next year is, like I said, leave here at like 4, drive somewhere within like maybe 6 hours, get a night's sleep, maybe wake up early, meet you guys or not, or just get there like around the same time as you. And then when we go back, I'm going to sleep a little bit later, leave at maybe like 9, do the same thing, like drive 9 to whatever. And then because I didn't go to work the next day, like you go to work, like I don't have to go to work the next day.
Yeah, we slept like 2 hours.
And then
we're at work.
get an extra hotel. Because I don't need to kill my whole family or anything.
Yeah, I fully recognize we're nuts for doing that. We
So
anywhere we're
it
going,
is.
we just haul.
And you're 10 years younger than me, so I mean, like
it still
for
hits
me,
though. It's still like I feel the same kind of things. But yeah, actually every year, I was telling Julie this time that it took me the whole week to recover from the drive back. It wasn't until the weekend I felt like normal again.
So when we got there at like 10ish, 9:30, something like that. Unloaded. That was quick. I went to my cabin. I slept for 2 hours. I set my alarm. I said I'm going to wake up in 2 hours, and then after that 2 hours, I felt great. And then I met you down at the parking area, and Yaya was with me, and his daughter Rose was with him. He's like, "You want to go to the Dragon?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I didn't do any filming. Like I didn't put GoPros on. I just kind of wanted to like experience that and not have to worry about anything. So I followed him down. And that Route 28 to the Dragon is an amazing road, and there was no cars on it. We just kind of hit it, and it was fun. And then got to the Dragon, and that was a good run. That first run I thought was really
So what's
fun.
your having never driven that road, what's your first impression of it?
You hear a lot of stuff like there's other roads in the area that are better. They're not as tight. They're not is crowded. But when we went, it was Wednesday. Not really any cars. Everyone pulled off, or for the most part pulled off. And I had a lot of fun. To me, the Atom, that's what that car is made for. Because when I really evaluate the Atom, I don't know if it's really made for a track. There's no power steering. There's no power brakes. I mean, for a professional driver, yeah, that's probably made for the track. But for me, that road being so tight in that short wheelbase, I thought that that's the most fun you can have in that car. And it was a little bit of work. Like, I've never driven that road before. I was just kind of following you. And there was some good pictures, and they posted it on like Killboy, and I read the Facebook comments, which were kind of funny because they're like, your passenger's completely bored, and
Yeah, I told Rose to like act cool, like don't look weird for the photographer, because I wanted like a picture on my garage wall, you know. So, but then everyone takes that, they're like, oh, look how bored she is.
Yeah,
Like,
they must be going slow, and
The photos that I saw on Instagram came out really great. Of you guys.
yeah, there's a ton of photos,
Yeah.
which I didn't like. I knew there would be photos, and like I didn't know where they were gonna be or anything like that. And I bought a lot of photos. I probably spent like $200 on photos.
I haven't even gone through mine yet and bought them all, but
Yeah.
I'll be spending some money.
And some of the ones I liked the other photos with your friend Kyle. There was a couple good pictures of those, and there was a couple good pictures of you, just like you out front that I bought.
Yeah, it's too bad you were so far away. And where was it? What state were you in? North Carolina, I
Yeah.
Yeah,
believe.
Kevin was in North Carolina,
Whipping this Honda Civic
and he
you
got
wouldn't
a
imagine.
Honda Civic SI or
SI,
something
yeah.
like that.
in shark's blue color.
That'd
I
been
mean, we
perfect.
technically stayed in North Carolina, if you think about it.
Yeah.
3.5, 4 hours away, but
Yeah, next year maybe you'll come.
yeah, depending on timing, if it's the same, weekend. It's not.
I
Yeah,
know
it's the
the-
same.
know the
It's the
dates.
same weekend.
Same
Yeah, I
weekend.
already know. You can already book the
Yeah.
hotel room at Fontana Village, which was fun
Cabin.
too. That place was nice. We got a cabin. It was
It's cool being like with everyone, right? Like once you get there, you don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah, it was nice.
The cabins, you know,
Yours
have
was
some.
yours was nicer than mine.
I guarantee you not. We had like a bed bug scare when we got back.
Okay, I don't know about that.
There were
That's
cockroaches on our wall in the bathroom that were like,
Yeah.
my God.
And didn't he have like a rattler, like a copperhead?
Oh, yeah, we had a copperhead in the backyard.
The
That
maintenance guy out there
like-
went out with like a shovel and stabbed it and was like, I got it.
Yeah, so if yours is worse than mine, I don't want to go in there.
It was funny in the morning. I had centipedes only in the morning, like when I was getting ready, they'd be like crawling around in the bathroom. But for the price I paid, I mean,
You got a deal. You got like more than half.
so
off
I
what
originally
paid.
I originally booked in the lodge or like the hotel rooms, and then that Monday I called and they did whatever, and a 2-bedroom, 2-bath was going to be like $1,400, which is $1,000 more than the lodge. And I don't know. I think if you just stay with them, they keep lowering the price because they're worried. And it was like $75 more to get a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. We didn't spend much time in that cabin anyway. It was basically like a sleeping
Right, I did.
thing. So
I mean, aside from them probably not doing a deep clean, wasn't that bad.
yeah, I thought it was good.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's pretty central to everything. Like we were near the fire pit, and you could just walk down to the pool and
Yeah, I already reserved my cabin for next year being as close to that as possible.
the same cabin.
Down the road a little more. I told them I did not want the same cabin. Unless they replace the mattress, which I think is as old as that house. Probably the 60s or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for the same cabin if I can have the same deal. I like the low.
Very
I like the
intriguing.
low price on that one. So one of the things we did was, when did we swap cars? So we did the initial drive on the Dragon. We drove out, and then I followed you, and then on the way back we swapped positions, and you followed me for a while.
We did at the Killboy store. So we did the Dragon all the way down to the
Yep.
boat launch.
Oh, that's right.
Came back,
Yep.
stopped at Killboys.
And then the ride back on 28, we
switched.
We swapped cars.
Hmm.
And that was interesting. I think we were both surprised for a very
Totally
similar
different.
car, like
They're
how
totally different.
how
I'm
different.
curious.
They are.
I'm very curious. Dan.
Where do I start? So his noise is so much. Well, it's different. I don't know if I'll say better, but the intensity, like next to your ear, is incredible. Like that noise you
so
hear.
our
from
intakes
it.
are in different spots. Mine's literally right by my right ear.
So his uses the factory scoop that you like is so iconic of the Atom, and mine, since it's aftermarket supercharged, it's right off of the throttle body, like a little air filter, which is down on the basically on the motor, and so you don't get that noise right next to your ear. But his you do, and you get this like whooshing sound like I've never heard before. It's like, you know, if you put your head in the engine bay of a turboed car, like this is what it sounds like. When you go in third gear, not only does it pull hard, but you get that loud noise next to your ear. It scares the shit out of you. It was a little scary,
At first, yeah.
but really cool. And then even when you're like partway on throttle, you hear that noise, like that whoosh, and I feel like it has more low end grunt. Maybe you feel like mine has.
I feel that yours has much better throttle response. Like at that low end, it feels like it goes faster, like revs up faster. But I feel like probably like 5,000 RPM and above, mine pulls a little harder than yours does.
And there's a few differences to the actual car. So his brakes are different, his seats are different. I guess those are the two big main ones that I noticed. So I sit way lower, and I sit in a spot where the windshield isn't curved.
So you said higher.
I sit lower in yours. For sure.
In mine. No, okay. Yeah. I thought I was saying.
And it's much easier for me to see. I have much better visibility. But I also feel like your seats, you know, I move around a little more.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I definitely noticed that it may be a little less confident. Also, your floating discs, I did not like. So I hit some bumps, and I heard a clunking like, I don't know, like a wheel is about to fall off.
Oh, God.
Like there's a bucket of, you know, bolts on the back of a pickup truck on a washboarded dirt road. Like that's what it feels like, or that's what it sounded like. And I pulled over, and I was like, Adam, I think you broke your car. I don't know what I did, but I broke your car. But
And that was the
that's
first
just
car
normal.
that he broke that week, by the way.
Yeah, 1 out of 2. But other than that, the brake pedal feel. I agree with you. I don't know what it is, if it's your master cylinder or what, but
Yeah, I'm gonna
it's a
talk
much
to Bear about
squishier pedal feel. And mine, kind of like, it feels like a motorcycle. It's like from the second you start pressing it, it's
Engaged.
it's tight, and so you get a much better feel for where you are.
So his car is like, I call it the Magnum PI car, where like you can't put the roof on. So his eyes are almost, my eyes are almost like at the top of the windshield in your car, and it's a much more upright seating position, similar to your car, because it's got racing buckets in it. So that's why it holds you in. And my car is more, I consider it like an F1, where you're kind of laid back a little bit more, and you're sitting a little bit lower in the car. And what he said, the brake pedal feels totally different. And initially, I like your brake pedal feel more, but right now I'm not really confident in the brakes in that car. Like I'm confident they'll stop, but like he said, it has those floating discs, and a lot of those cars with floating discs have a spring on it, like every other bolt, and it keeps it from rattling around. And my car always sounds like it's rattling because those discs are always like kind of shaking around. So that's something that I do need to sort, and I'm trying to find the springs for it. I've contacted Alcon, and it's it's not easy. Nothing with that car is easy to find things on. So I might replace the discs with something that's similar to your system, where it's like a 2-piece, but it's not floating like that.
Right.
But
I mean,
then
you
I'm
can
kind
get the
of
hardware,
thinking,
so I wonder if maybe yours are just a little.
I called
worn.
Alcon and to ask about and they're like, oh yeah, I remember we did discs for them, and like I said, nothing's easy.
I remember one day we did discs.
Yeah, but I kind of like thinking back. Like I'd like to see what it's like driving your car in the Dragon, only because our car, the front end is so light on that there's a lot of times where you need to put a little bit of brake pressure on it to put a little bit of weight. So you're not really braking, you're just kind of transferring weight forward to that. So I'm curious what the brake modulation would be like on your car versus my car, where like mine, I have more like play with it. With yours, like you might need to be more precise. But I'm going to ask Bear why you have, it must have something to do with the master cylinder or...
I'm thinking that's the only thing that it would be.
Yeah.
Unless yours floats so much that they move
It's
your,
not that
your
because
caliper
yours is
out.
really firm. You have a really firm brake on that.
And we should have the same master cylinder, I think.
I don't know because you have Brembo brakes or see mine are Alcon. So.
Mine are Willwood.
Oh,
calipers.
Willwood. Yeah, Willwood.
Yep.
So it might be different.
It might be. I was thinking, the only thing I was thinking is, I think my brake bias is 50-50, true 50-50. I think it's right in the middle. And I don't know if adjusting
Mine is more forward. I don't think I've adjusted it. It doesn't change the feel. But I did lock up one time and I adjusted a little bit more towards the rear. I got yelled at. Mr. Webb. was yelling at me, and he's like a weirdo too, because if I'm not right up on someone's ass, he's like, why are you driving like a pussy? But then when I drive hard, then he's like why are you
Slow
don't have to
down,
go
Daddy
80.
Webb.
Yeah, seriously, that's what it was like. He's like, it's like I can't win either way. It's like either I'm driving too hard or I'm not driving hard enough.
All right, Mr. Webb, did you get sick though?
I did not get sick.
Did you get scared?
When he locked up, I was kind of like, what the fuck?
I mean, you got to test that limit every once in a while.
I did do a four-wheel slide this time into one of the tightest turns there, and it was a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when we were with the Supras. And I was like, okay,
was that
maybe.
you? Like on the video,
I think it's me, and I think
don't know
that's that
because
turn.
that sound was so clear. I didn't feel it was from you, and I know it wasn't from me because I didn't lock up on that turn.
It was very.
I don't know if it was the other car that was in the other lane. That's what I was thinking.
I'll have to watch it again, but it was loud and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Yeah, because you're coming into a turn too hot, and you got to put the brakes on mid-turn, and then it just slid a little bit. It was a little bit freaky. But then there was another turn where I got on it and I did like a little drift, and I felt like, the world's best driver.
Yeah. So the progression of the weekend was we got there Wednesday. I napped for 2 hours, met Dan. We did a couple drives on the Dragon, came back. The next morning, I went out early by myself, or Mr. Webb came with me. And then we rented a boat for the day, which was actually really fun. Oh, cool. And hung out. There was like 3 boats, and we just all did our thing. Went back, and then the next day was the day I think we did the big group drive.
Yeah, they usually do a drive on Friday. This time it was planned by someone else, by Luke.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah, Luke's great, man. He's a nice guy.
But yeah, I felt bad for Kyle, who is a friend of mine, and he brought his NSX, new to him this year. And I felt a little guilty because I was, no, you go ahead of me, And then I rode his ass the whole way. And so he was pushing it. And then, boom, he got the ticket. So I felt a little guilty.
So we met up in the morning. There was like a group. And we weren't even the first group. There was
a couple in front of us.
Your buddy with the Panamera went out before us.
But he pulled off at the
which I didn't
dam.
see.
Yeah.
And then it was Kyle with the NSX, Dan, then me. We hit the Dragon. Did we have that cruiser in front of us for?
That was the next day.
That was the other day. Okay, so we drove for a while, and I mean we were driving pretty good. It wasn't slow by any means, and all of a sudden I didn't have my GoPros going because I had previously done the Dragon, and then I was like, the GoPro sucks, so you only have so much filming. I'm like, I'm gonna do the Charahala. And then anyway, we get around a corner, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I see blue lights, and then so by the time I went, the cop was behind me. I kind of pulled over. He passed me, passed Dan, and I'm like, he's just gonna flag us all over. Like once he gets the lead guy, we're all pulling over. So Dan tried to pull over behind Kyle in the NSX, and the cop's like, no, keep going. So we kept going.
I felt great about that. Sorry, Kyle, if you're listening, but that was the best part of my day.
I mean, I was prepared to get a ticket on that one. And
actually, right before that, Kyle was pushing his car, his NSX, and he like was drifting a little bit, and then the tires were squealing. He was
really, I didn't hear any of that.
He was locking him up a little bit on some turns, and it was like, I'd say 10 seconds before the cop actually got him, he was sliding. So I'm sure that they could hear that. Like, okay, these guys.
Well, he said the cop said he could. I was figuring it was the exhaust that could hear us coming, and he said he clocked him at 68. But he said, by the time I turn my lights on, you're at 61, so I'm going to give you a ticket for 61. And, apparently the cop was cool. I like your car. I'm not going to... And he said he's not going to submit this to the state because there's, like, some new felony law. He didn't get him for reckless or anything. He just got, like, 31 over or something like that.
Yeah.
That kind of subdued the rest of the day, I think. We met up at, like, a gas station. So. Yeah. And we all kind of regrouped, and then we went on the Charahala. We went on some other good roads, and then the Charahala. But it wasn't anything crazy. Like, I've heard guys going on the Charahala, like, oh, we're doing 160. I mean, we didn't.
What's the speed limit in general there? Or what are they?
125. No, I mean, the speed limit's like 40, 45.
Yeah,
or
something like that.
But they're real long sweepers, and... It's a fun road. Like, I had a fun road. I did not probably... I probably touched my brakes like 3 times the entire time on that road.
Because you were mentioning it was 11 miles.
That's the Dragon's 11 miles. Charahala is much, much longer.
How long is that compared?
30 miles, probably.
Probably. It takes at least an hour to go from one end of it to the other end.
And then,
depending on how fast you're going.
Yeah. And Dan put a spot in my GPS, and I was going this way, so everyone went left. And then I looked behind me, I'm like, no one's behind me, and oh shit, I must have.
But directly before that, I was driving, and I was like, oh shit, look at that giant rock in the road to Julie. There's like a big boulder, like it looked like a cobblestone. And I was like, thank God we didn't hit that. Turns out, Adam hit it for us.
I had to make
knocked it out of the way.
I had to make the decision: do I hit my wing, my carbon fiber wing, or do I blow my tire? So I kind of like went off and to the side of the road, and I kicked it out to the side for everyone. And there's a spot on my tire that they saw, but it was fine. No carnage. And then we had he stopped for me, thankfully. What a nice guy, man. Everybody else went on. I was gonna stop. I was gonna wait after the Dragon is kind of like a pull-off. I was going to wait there for Kyle, but you guys were like, no, let's keep going. I'm like, okay.
Oh, before the ticket? Or right after the ticket?
Right after the ticket. You know that little pull-off right after Dragon?
Well, I didn't know if he would turn back and be like, well, forget today. I got a ticket and that's it.
Oh, really?
I didn't know if they were going to, like, take his car.
Arrest him.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, the BRG group, man, they don't give a shit, man. They'll... Yeah. Oh, he might have got arrested. We don't care. Well, we're going to do our drive the rest.
They filmed him and they thumbs up him as he was getting a ticket.
Oh, yeah. They don't care.
Jeez.
So, anyway, then we had lunch, and that was a good day. It was a good ride. It was fun. I mean, minus the ticket. But, so I've done research on this, and I mentioned this to you earlier. What everyone does is they drive from the north, where we were, North Carolina, they drive north to the Dragon. If there's no cops, you can drive south 100% as fast as you want, because the cops only come, there's no like exits on that road. So the Tennessee cops only come from the north. So if you drive all the way up and you don't see a cop, you can drive back and there's not going to be another cop.
That's what we should do. It's hard. I mean,
And the other thing too is driving south, there's way more pull-offs. Driving north, there's not as many pull-offs as driving south. So the move next year, if you're going to drive fast, which a lot of motorcycle guys, I've been watching this, they're like, they never drive fast going north. It's always south that they drive going
it's hard
fast.
not to drive fast on that road, though. Especially when you get into a rhythm.
Yeah, when you get in a rhythm, it's
almost like you're on that road and you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. Like that's what it's
Yeah,
for.
you know what?
It
You're right,
feels
yeah.
like this is a racetrack. What do you mean there's a cop? It doesn't
yeah. What do
make
you mean they're
sense
going to pull
almost.
you over?
Yeah. It's almost like this is what it's for. Why are there so many pull-offs? Well, it's because there's people
Yeah.
that go faster. But you can't speed, I guess.
Which it
So
kind of
it's-
is made for that. Like when you go down
That's a
there.
good perspective. That's a good point.
I mean, so you'll go to, I forget what his place, it's like the Dragon Slayer, or like whatever restaurant it is over there across from Killboy's store. And you'll be having lunch there, and you look to the left, and there's a guy in his full race leathers motorcycle, and like he's got the knee pucks and whatever, and they're like, sheared down, and he's sweating for going so fast and hard all day. And then you look to the right, and there's like the state troopers, and they're like having lunch together. It's the weirdest thing ever. But
It is
that's
weird.
what that road.
Because they know that that's their like moneymaker down there. There's nothing else around there that everyone's coming there for that. So it's kind of like we enforce it because it is dangerous. I mean, the first time we went out, there was a motorcycle off the road. I mean, he just drove off straight, which is funny because the other time there was two motorcycles off the road. I think it was at the exact same corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched on YouTube multiple times. It's like that, whatever that corner is, like people just go, when you're going north, they just go off straight.
I think at least every year I've gone, there's been a major accident on that road. In fact, Luke and I, maybe it was last year or the year before, but we were sitting at a turn and we came around and everyone was like, stop, stop, stop. And someone had broke his leg and it was like a bad break. He needs to be like, airlifted somewhere else. So,
What does Luke drive normal?
he had a Z4M,
Oh, those are cool.
but I think he just sold it.
Yeah.
And so now he just has the ZX14
Drag bike.
Yeah.
And those guys on the bikes were nice to ride with. Like, they weren't.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I've driven
and then
with bikes before, and they're total.
Max, he and his wife are from Canada. And so he was awesome to ride with as well. Some of them, like to show off. But, yeah, it was a good ride this time.
So who are we further than the Canada people, or?
I think by miles, yeah. Because they come from right north of Michigan. And it's like a straight shot down.
Yeah.
So I think by miles we're farther. But there was someone that came from California this time.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What did they have?
His name is Dan. I think he used to have a 3S. I don't know what he brought this time. Actually, I have no idea. I feel like he flew in or something because I didn't see a car. But yeah, he did come from further. It's still mostly a 3000 GT gathering, and there.
I'd say 50%. 50% of the cars were 3000 GTs or a handful of BMWs.
There's always a big
Different-
BMW crowd there.
Different, years and makes. Tyler liked the Mercedes. What was that Mercedes? Do you even know?
Not off the top of my head right now.
Yeah. Was it the matte one?
Yeah, the matte black one.
I couldn't tell if he was part of the BRG.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
And he
I
that's
talked to
like
him for a bit actually.
an NBA player's car. Actually, I found some good YouTube videos of him on
Yeah, I think I did see him on some runs.
going on. And then I like that teal Civic.
Yep, Drew. I like his car a lot.
Yeah, that was
He
nice.
tracks a lot of VRR.
couple bikes.
I like Brett's clown shoe a
Yeah,
lot.
that was a cool color too.
Yep. Yeah, there's a good variety that goes there.
Hmm.
Be cool to have a GT3 there. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
No, that's cool that they do the 3000 GT still. Like that was you were telling me earlier about they were doing that originally. Now for how long they say they've been doing this for,
Probably mid-90s.
Mid-
Probably like 30 years. Wow.
and it's
Yeah.
still having those cars show up. That's a good sign.
It gets bigger and bigger, and then every time I go, I always want one of those cars. And then I hear like everyone's issues with them, and I'm like, maybe not.
Well, how do you feel personally from going with the first 3 times versus the last, 3 times?
In which way?
Like you driving confidence, like experience, like waste of time, waste of money.
Every
waste of
year, I try to bring something different. So, like the first time I had a Yamaha R6, and I drove that, and it was so eye-opening. Like the first turn I took, I was in the other lane, like completely in the other lane, and I learned that I had no idea how to ride my bike. Subsequent years, I took WRXs and all kinds of stuff, and I think I took the Atom twice now, and it was the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Like I said, I think that's what that car is made for. Because those turns are so tight. You have a tight wheelbase, a short wheelbase. You're not really going 10/10ths. I swapped out wheels like after the first day. So I have a cutaway wheel, which I like because I can see my shift lights. But then after
Steering
I was
wheel,
like,
you mean?
Yeah. I was like, I don't need that, and I wanted the wheel, the actual, which I liked. And I actually like that wheel a little bit better because the Momo wheel, it's the grip isn't as thick. I like the thickness of the wheel that I have, but I swapped it out. I liked it a little bit better.
And how did you feel shifting?
I purposely, most of my runs, like if you go on the YouTube channel or whatever, are in third gear. Like I just like to be in third gear because coming out of a turn, like I just have more power. And also I know if I just stay in third, then I'm like sub 75 miles per hour, like in that area. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm like,
That was a big difference, I think, between you and I, because I liked fourth gear. I was almost never in third gear.
But I feel like our gears are different too.
They should be exactly the same.
Really?
We both have
we should
the same.
test that at some point because I felt like they were a little bit different. But
I fourth out of a turn, just get a little into the throttle and boom, you're there.
So the reason why I like third, there's 3 big reasons. One is when I lift off, I'm in a higher RPM, so the engine braking's a little bit more. When I come out of the corner, I'm in a lower gear, so I can power out of it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm in fourth, I feel like it's just like ludicrous speed. So like if I stay in third, then I know I'm at a speed where I'll die, but
I definitely learned that Daddy Webb over here is a lot faster than me, for sure. Just like I learned in Atlanta, but I learned it harder here. Because like I was trying to follow him behind the Supras, and I was feeling really good until a couple turns. I was like, all right, I'm just going to commit to not seeing him for a couple turns. Like, and that's okay.
It's funny, I was editing the Supra video, and there was a couple times I'm like, probably could have driven harder than this and passed these Supra.
But I did not have that confidence. Yeah,
I was fine. I was glad that actually the day that we did the Charhala, like I woke up, and when you drive that road, you kind of evaluate things because you're like, if anything breaks on my car, I'm probably gonna die because I'm going like down a cliff. So that morning I woke up and Tyler or Mr. Webb was supposed to come with me, and he was like, sleeping, and I'm like, do you want to come? He's like, I'm like, if you don't want to come, you don't have to come. He's like, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I didn't push him too hard because I'm like, I'm probably going to drive a little hard today. So I didn't.
The Saturday, which is the drive that everyone does as a group, I knew that I'd go a little harder than normal. The day that we did the Supra, or they ended up behind the Supras.
Yeah.
And that morning, Rose was begging me to go on it. And I was like, I don't think so. It's just too dangerous. Because, like there's one turn I can picture it in my head as when you're almost back. And it's a left turn after a fairly big straight. And you can see the river below. And you know that if you go off the road, there's just a couple trees there. And then you're just down hundreds of feet. So if you go off the road there, that's it. Especially in our cars, where like, let's say you go off the road, right? And there's a stick or something. Where's that going to go? Right through me.
The scariest part for me is like north of the scenic overlook. Because to me, that's like a real high-speed section, and there's one really tight turn there. And that's where we locked up. Well, we didn't lock up on the really tight turn. So when we went out, I locked up at a turn, and then he's like flipping out when I locked up. And then there's another turn that you turn to the right, which is, and I locked up again right after that. And then he was like really screaming at me. He's like, we don't need to be going 80 miles per hour. But when we're stuck behind like a cruiser or something, we're only going 50. He's like, fuck this guy's, you know.
That's another thing you get on this road is like the full dresser guy that is hauling ass for him. And he probably feels awesome doing it. But for us, it's pretty friggin' boring. Like you're watching him scrape his pipes on the ground and like barely make the turns, and I'm just falling asleep here. And there's a million pull-offs, but they don't pull off.
Yeah. So I have a video of the guy on the dresser, and he's scraping. And to me, I'm like, why wouldn't this guy just pull over? I mean, he's scraping. He's doing dangerous shit. To me, if you're scraping, it's dangerous. And just pull over, let us go by, and then you can do the rest of your ride the way you want to do it. And then on Instagram, there was some guy, Killboy posted a picture of both of us, and this guy's like, I bet $1.35 they were holding up motorcycles or bikes or whatever. And I'm like, where you want to send your money, you know? And because we weren't. And he's like, you got proof? And I'm like, well, I actually do have video of. I go, a guy, and I thought this guy was going to be driving like a sport bike, and he's driving like a Honda Gullwing or something like that. And honestly, the whole time that we were there was one bike that passed.
And
the
that
only
guy
bike
like,
that passed us.
That guy was like full racing suit.
Yeah, Mr. Rowe, what did you think about it?
Knees
Were you,
like 2 centimeters from the ground.
He was cool because
were you with us when he passed?
Yeah,
I was.
He was with us. So I saw him pass you, and I'm like, all right, I'll pull over on the next one. This guy's fast. And he pulled over, and then he was kind of cool because I don't know if you saw it, but he went off, and then he was like slowing down. He's like turning around, like I don't know if he was taking pictures of us.
Maybe he had like a helmet cam or something.
I don't know. He was like slowing down and turning around and doing whatever. But he was fast, and that's the only guy I was like the Supras at the time, like trying to pass them, like they were pushing pretty good. When I looked at the video, I'm like, I probably like could have, but I didn't need to do that. I was having fun, and I also like having someone in front of me to take one for the team, you know. So I wasn't like trying to
we
pass
saw them
them.
after the run. We pulled over to the Killboy store, and they told us
Yeah,
some shit.
they were pretty cool. But other than that, there was not a bike out there that I thought was like.
I mean, Kevin, for context, this guy on the bike, I felt like we were hauling ass.
Yeah, we were going good.
And then I look in my mirror, and I happened to, and like I could have told you if the guy shaved like that morning or not. Like he was that close to me. I was like, holy shit, I better pull over now, because he was like, it felt like inches away from me.
But the whole thing is like, there's always going to be somebody faster than you out there. So pull over, let them have their fun. And I was impressed at how many people actually really did pull over. You know, the one guy on that like cruiser was kind of a dick.
So I wanted to actually pull over at a pull off, like the two of us, and just wait for a while.
Yeah,
but there's no good way to like signal to you, hey, pull over.
Yeah, because you were behind me. You could have flashed me or something. I would have figured it out. But again, going north, there's not a lot of pull-offs. I mean, there are, but it's not a lot. But the one good thing is it's like a long road, and you can do a couple minutes of like driving hard, and then a couple minutes of not driving hard, and it was.
It gets more and more popular every year too. That's why like Wednesday, Thursday are the best days to go out and drive.
Yeah, on Saturday when it got really busy, it wasn't so much that like people weren't pulling off, and it was so busy that you were going like 20 miles per hour. But the stuff that I was worried about was like when you're coming into an apex and there's another guy coming this way in the opposite direction. That's the stuff that kind of got
that happens.
There was a couple times that it kind of got hairy because, you know, someone would kind of cross over a little bit, or.
That's where the accidents usually happen, and every time we've gone, the accidents that do happen are because people cross into the yellow into another car. And if you think about our cars, they're basically a big ramp. So the lowest point of the car is just a few inches off the ground. So if you think about an SUV, what's it going to do? It's going to come right into me. And so it makes it even more like scary when you're coming into a turn. You see a giant Hummer, right next to you. All he has to do is turn a little bit too much, and then he's coming into you. In fact, I think a few weeks ago, as soon as they finished the road, a motorcyclist died because I don't think they crossed into the yellow, or maybe they did. Either way, like someone usually crosses the double yellow, and then boom, that's it.
Well, I will say cars get a lot of shit for crossing the double yellow, but when I look at YouTube and stuff, bikes are probably the worst offenders.
Even in front of us, there's bikes that cross the double yellow multiple times.
Or even if like,
even
if their tire is not across it, their helmet definitely is.
Yeah,
because they're so lean into the turn. Like, I don't understand that.
I mean, I would say the bikes were the worst offenders of crossing, but I mean they're the most vulnerable, I guess. And then when I look at YouTube videos, it's like bikes are like passing people, and that's fine. But I mean, like, I'm considerate about that. Like I you know what I mean? Like if a bike's passing me, like I'll lift off or whatever. Like, I'm not going to let a bike smash into another, but not everyone is considerate like that.
There were a couple times in the Charhala actually where I couldn't tell if the bike let us pass him or not. It was like
that time. Yeah, they let us pass. They pulled.
And then I was worried that like Kyle behind us would think like that we, ripped by a bike, but
yeah, I mean, we're pretty considerate. I mean, I don't think we're going to do anything. Those bikes definitely, I know what you're talking about. They definitely let us go by. What was your favorite car of the weekend? Not just like with the BRG group. Like, did you see anything on the Dragon that you thought was really cool?
I mean, what keeps coming to my mind is my car, because it's the most fun I've ever had on that road. And I can't imagine having any more fun with anything I could buy.
That's great.
But what else did we see?
Lotus that I liked a lot. That was pretty cool.
That was a cool car. There was an Amira there.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
And then other than that, listening to Kyle's NSX was pretty cool.
That's a nice car.
Without the ticket. Yeah, that motor sounded awesome. So it kind of sold me into wanting an NSX.
Yeah.
I would definitely buy an NSX over a GT4.
Right
That's
there.
a topic for another day, though.
Yeah, another day. We test drove some GT4s, and after driving our car, it's just like slow. Yeah. It's like driving a Kia. It's like, when is this thing gonna...
Warning to GT4 owners.
Yeah.
No, that just goes to show how how much engagement, how much experience you guys are pushing the cars. That it doesn't matter what you go into next. It's just like, this is not. You're saying this more like the seat feels different than when you're.
It is. It's like when I got on that car, the seat position was totally different.
Yeah.
And Ty, what was your favorite car? I know what you're gonna say.
I honestly wasn't really paying attention to too many other cars on the Dragon. I was just trying to live in the moment and just enjoy the sights and sounds of the cars and
the tires
whatever was in
squealing
front
on
of
the
me or
corners
behind me. Yeah, and just feel like
My car's so loud I can hear other people's like squealing.
Yeah, there was a big rattle.
Anything
Yeah.
like that. The rattling. Were you scared at all?
I mean, I was when you locked up, but other than that, I was fine. The only part that I didn't really like was when I felt like pebbles and pieces of grass hitting me from the inside, because I was kind of like one golf ball sized rock, and it's like,
Yeah.
it could be over, man. Like,
That's part of the fun.
Part of the
Every time you
experience, yeah.
drive, you're
That's
like,
another thing I was going to say about your car. You have way more rocks than me. I
Yeah,
think
you
they
know.
hit your side pods.
I think
and
they
then
do.
bounce
'Cause
in
after
the
you
car.
said that, it made sense to me.
Because I don't get half of the ones that, like Rose and I were getting like, obliterated by little pebbles like everywhere. And I didn't feel that in my car. Once in a while you do. You get some good ones.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they do hit that little side pod thing and come back up and hit you.
It's part of owning an
Part-
Atom,
yeah.
I guess.
That's Ariel Atom life,
4D driving experience.
Yeah.
so in terms of the drive, down and back, what did you think of that, Dan?
Down and back from where?
Down and back from just the trip in general. Because I know that.
down the drive to Tennessee and then the drive back.
Yeah, because I know it was our first time, but have you gotten accustomed to it, if you will, or like how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm pretty used to driving overnight and doing the long haul thing. And actually, usually Julie and I will switch out. I didn't this time at all. It felt okay. Par for the course, pretty much.
I don't know why he didn't let me drive. He's always let me drive before, but he was paranoid about
So I was pretty
the truck.
anal about the truck because I'm looking at my
Yeah, he's watching
my
all his-
EGTs and my trans temp, and I know that in like 6th gear the trans temp
I'm not
gets.
an idiot. Like, I can read those gauges.
But I'm just not going to be able to
just as
sleep
well as you
anyways, and so I'm just like, well, I just might as well drive anyways instead of like focus on.
Of anybody's wife here, I think she would be the best one.
Oh, she definitely
to drive a car.
could. I just know that she knows that I'm a bad passenger. So when we took the Corvette down, she drove it on the Dragon, probably 30 miles an hour. I mean, it was
can.
nothing.
I drove it fine.
But I was
drove
like,
30
oh my God, you're over the line.
miles an
You're gonna crash. Like, what's going on here?
How did it feel to live off of Monster Energy and Chester's fried chicken?
I will say Chester's
hour. Good.
mac and cheese was not that bad.
It looked good. I was
It's got like a
disappointed.
particular taste to it that it wasn't too bad.
That's actually, one of my favorite parts about driving down is like looking at weird energy drinks that you find at like the
Like
Pilot
the
and
ultra
the-
strawberry dream.
There was one. Where were we? But we took.
New York.
This guy went out back and he's like, hold on, I got something for you. He's like, we can't sell this, and
Can't
don't
sell
drink too much of it.
He said we
but
can't sell it in the front of the store, but you have to ask for it. And you can't have more than like 2 tablespoons per serving.
some like nuclear caffeine drink. It was like, let me just drive, will you? Let's not have a heart attack. on the way
And
out.
this is how you know who your friends are, because you never mentioned that to me. Like, hey, I got this special energy drink. Do you want some? You never said that to me.
I think we dumped that thing out last
No,
year.
I drank that.
this was last
This
year.
was yeah.
I drank
Oh,
the whole
okay, not
fucking
this year.
drink that night. But I did 2 tablespoons at a time. As
Yeah,
told me to.
she wonders why I don't let her drive.
It was
Okay.
fine.
I thought you meant this year.
No, that was
No secrets this year.
no secrets.
No
I'm just
secrets.
Just pure anticipation of getting there.
Yeah, it was. I'm telling you, the trip down was not that bad. I didn't
Actually,
experience like
Mr. Webb, we pull into a Pilot or whatever the hell we did, and you get out of the car and like your hair is like every which place, and I'm like, oh, is it really 4 more hours? It's like probably like 6 actually, because we're losing time.
When I got to that Love's, I didn't even know where the hell we were at like 2 a.m. in the morning. I was
There's
just
the perks of being able to sleep in the back seat.
Well, the other thing is I have you have a co-pilot and I have 2 completely I'm not even going to say the word co-pilots. Like they couldn't look up Google their last name if they tried. And also this last trip that we did to Cleveland, same thing. Like, oh, you need to know the exit that we're going to get off, and
I'm a big believer
and
in
she's like doing the okay in 65 minutes we're gonna have a Love's and we'll pull them there for 22 minutes
I
and
stayed awake the
you-
entire time, FYI, too.
they have,
Wait,
they
I was like,
have
all right.
this and they have that.
why does it matter what exit we are if I can just
Because we were dancing between like 50 miles left and
Because
40
when-
miles
yeah,
left.
because when you're
there's
driving
some
and
big
you're
hill,
trying
and
to-
so now his range is down 10 miles, and
and
he
also
runs the truck
mentally
out of
like
oil.
you want to know well I did
I know that your release schedule was similar to mine.
so on the way back, which I borrowed my uncle's truck just because it's newer, and on the way back he sends me a message or calls me and he's like, I got a message that you have no oil in the truck. I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't have a light on the, I got pressure. So then we stopped and sure enough, like I had to put a
this is like 11 o'clock at night
yeah,
in like
11 o'clock.
Springfield, Mass or something, and I'm like giggling. I can't keep it in. I'm like overtired, and he's spilling oil like on his finger, dumping it in.
It's like smoking. Like I spilled it all over the headers, and then the next like 50 miles, I'm worried the engine's gonna catch on fire. And it was a good trip.
I was
though.
just wondering what the people in the gas stations were thinking about us.
Mass plates. Or New Hampshire plates.
Well, I mean, most of the gas stations, they're truck drivers, so I'm sure they've
Yeah.
seen weird
That
shit.
was also an adventure. Like, I feel like I'm one of the boys, like, heavy hauling something, and I'm pulling up to like the big diesel things and using the 4-foot long or 8-foot long window washer things. And I need a CB radio next time.
We had the two ways. That was
They were
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, that worked good.
I think we only saw 2 fatal accidents on the way back home.
Did we?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
that
yeah.
one truck one.
Oh,
in
the one.
Pennsylvania was
Yeah,
pretty
the
fucking
one.
bad.
There was
And
one.
then there was one where a truck crossed into the median and smacked like a minivan.
Really? I didn't see that.
No,
Yeah, it was in
I actually
Pennsylvania.
looked it up, and then there was like I looked it up when there was like 3 deaths or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every year we see something like that.
And I think there was one also in Pennsylvania where the truck just like flipped across the exit ramp.
And they like cut the
Oh,
roof
there's
off
one.
that
Did you
one.
see that one that was like on fire on the ramp?
Yeah, I saw something
It
on
was, like,
fire and like
completely-
cops running in and
Completely like burnt out, like on a exit ramp.
Did you tell them about the drunk cop like 2 years ago that we saw? The one.
well, a couple years ago we left 4th of July night. And so we were in Pennsylvania or New York around 2 in the morning. And there was an 18-wheeler that was swerving like you've never seen before. Like the rear wheel of the tractor or the trailer would be like off the ground. And so we called the cops and like we're giving him like, all right, we're at mile marker 138 or whatever it is. And we saw that cop on the opposite lane hauling like, it must have been the best night of his life, like going 120 in his car. And then flipped around and came and pulled him over. But yeah, that guy was clearly extremely drunk.
Like 3 lanes at least, for miles and miles and miles, like back and forth,
It's a pretty bad one.
multiple like tipping over.
The other thing that I thought was cool was there was multiple cars that we saw like in almost Tennessee and still saw them in like Pennsylvania or
Yeah.
like they'd get off and probably we'd get off and like you'd see them. Did you see the one that was in orange? Like it was a really cool truck. It had like big.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. We
And it
saw
was
him
empty,
and then
and
we saw
then-
him later. He hauled ass by
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Full.
with the big stacks.
Oh my. Yeah.
I was like, that was so weird. Like I can't believe.
I want to
like,
be friends with that guy.
Yeah, yeah. There's multiple cars that literally like the whole United States they came up, and that orange truck was because it was like a weird like
We made a comment
80s
about it.
truck or
yeah.
something.
It was like
Coolest truck I've ever seen.
the biggest stacks I've seen, and he was hauling. And
Empty.
then we, no
Well,
trailer.
even full he was hauling.
Yeah, and then full. We saw him like later on, like hours later, and I was like, hold on, that's that guy.
Wow.
that was pretty cool. So you coming next year or what, man? You gotta
Sounds intriguing. The food.
are you
and
gonna
the-
rent a U-Haul? You
Well,
gonna
the logistics is my, going to be my due diligence for sure. See how I'm going to figure that all that out, unless we kind of figure it out.
He's gonna get like 25 miles to a gallon down.
why?
Well, his car probably gets out on the highway.
He's not gonna drive the GT3 for
Oh no.
1,000 miles.
I don't know about that.
Honestly, you could rent a U-Haul and use your truck.
Yeah, I mean, that's the logistics kind
And
of.
then next year, so you have the dilemma because next year, like we might have multiple Ariel Adams there. Like,
Yeah, if I can't bring 2 cars, it's the one is going to be an Ariel Atom because we met someone. We met the Super Guys, and they were friends with an Ariel Atom owner that lives like 25 minutes from the Dragon. So he was like, "I'll definitely be there next year." And then some guy from Seattle that you've been
Seattle,
talking
yeah.
to.
yeah, I've been talking to him. He's got he had 2 SRAs, and he just bought a.
He just bought a 3S, right?
Yeah.
He wants to trailer down from Seattle. So he's like, "Are you guys definitely going next year? Because I got to plan it. It's 3,000
Yeah.
miles away. He wants to drive."
So again,
I'm
I
for
mean,
it, but
everyone says they're gonna come till they don't come.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
if
I'm
I
not
go,
saying anything.
yeah, I
until,
mean,
like,
people that are 4 hours away could,
Yeah.
just not show up.
if I go and I have a new car by the time we go, then
Yeah, I don't think it will.
Maybe.
yeah,
Your current car would be fine there.
Yeah, that would be a fun
Oh,
car.
maybe it'll make it down. Who knows?
Yeah, that could win best tints on the car show.
And if Kevin comes, we could split a room.
Oh, you live with Kevin?
Yeah, or well, not split a room, like split a cabin. Obviously, 2
Why?
rooms.
Why would?
Get a couple twin beds.
Why would you split a cabin if me and Yaya have a cabin and you can stay in that cabin for free? Huh?
Good point.
Yeah. You didn't.
Did
take
I
that
say I'd
one.
pay for it though?
You didn't
I'll
pay
make-
for it this year, so
Maybe I'll just make Kevin pay for the whole thing.
Maybe you guys just get a 3-bedroom. Oh, actually, you had a 2-bedroom. Just get one with 2 twin beds. There you go.
yeah, we should get a 3-bedroom cabin. next
Yeah,
year.
we get the cockroach. It's like a fourth. We can,
Yeah, 5, 4, 6. Go for it.
We had no cockroach, no copperheads, no cockroaches. We had centipedes.
We had a stove that didn't work though.
I mean, the stove was fine. It was fine. We didn't. The other thing is, food down there is cheap.
Yeah.
Like a burger was like $12 or $13 at the restaurant. Like up here, it's like 18 or 23.
Right.
And the
It's
dragon
not Boston
burger was
breakfast.
actually the tits. It was pretty good.
Even the fancy restaurants down there are cheaper than like whatever's up here. It's like
Everything's cheaper down there.
rounds on me for everyone.
The first year I went down there, I went to a restaurant called Shoney's. You ever heard of it?
Oh yeah, I've heard of Shoney's.
Man,
That's
the
a
soup
chain.
had like a skin on it. Like it was gross. The waiter, I've never seen someone walk so slow in his life. I'm surprised that he could stand upright.
jeez.
And I'll never go to a Shoney's in my life. Oh my god. So some of the places down there are something else. But
You
just
could stock up at Ingles again.
Yeah, that's why I saw it there. Or like a boiled peanuts place on the side of the road.
What is that place called? Ingles.
Ingles, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys didn't get boiled peanuts when you were down there, no?
No, I went to the Ingles in Robbinsville. I drove down by myself. It says American owned.
There you go.
There
So
you go.
I don't.
You drove down by yourself.
Yeah, I went down. I took the other dragon.
Back
Shit.
of the Dragon.
No, the back of the dragon is actually in Virginia.
Oh, interesting.
That's just
It's
the
far away.
the southern dragon. But we had a good ride coming back after you turned around, and when we were on the Charhala, we had a
Oh, when we lost everyone?
good
Yeah.
ride. Good ride back.
I mean, I was going like criminally fast, but it was really fun, actually.
yeah.
Just
So
trying to catch up to everybody. I feel like we did.
we probably did. I mean, they didn't get there much faster than us. So it was a good time. Good people.
Great people, yeah.
Yeah.
Good resort. It was fun to
It was fun.
chill by the
like
pool,
that
go
place.
on the
It
boat.
was a good mix of like driving and relaxing.
having
I
activities.
feel like every
day,
morning
too.
we drive, then we go to the pool, and then we'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna do rides," and then the rides never. We're gonna swap cars, and
That's every year.
Yeah.
Every single year.
nobody does
Nobody
because
does.
probably nobody really wants you to drive their car anyway. So
Shout out to the Dip Fest and whoever made that Mexican food because that was really good.
That the next thing.
but whoever made the chicken for that thing, I want to contact
That
them
shit
and find
was
out.
fucking
The chicken was
fire.
good.
The Saturday night or the...
Yeah, the Saturday
Saturday night.
Saturday night chicken. I'm gonna message Christy. That's her name, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Christy
ask who
Allen,
made
yeah.
the chicken. Like, what's the recipe for that? Because that was good chicken.
I don't know. I feel like that was catered. Was it not?
No.
No.
They made it.
People made it.
No, they make it. One of her friends or family or something, I think.
I love
cooks it
when I'm
all.
like circling around the food table like a vulture, and then they say, "Come and get it," and I just sprint to the food table before,
I have it.
so I can get it before anybody double dips or before it gets cold or anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think that was the fastest I've ever hustled since my failed baseball career.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Chicken is pretty good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was a good chicken.
Hey, I'm just trying to give the viewers a feel for how good that shit actually was.
Okay. Well, you can reach out tomorrow and ask what the recipe is.
Sweating.
Anyway, so yeah, it was a good time. Next year, if you don't come, I already have 2 or 3 guys with similar cars that are gonna.
Sounds like
Maybe
it.
GT4. Who knows?
I'm gonna look at logistics and we'll see. We'll see.
My favorite car was the Honda, the Aqua Honda, and what's your friend? He's got the black. It's like a Mitsubishi or a with the gold wheels.
Oh, Jarrell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that car was nice. I like that car. Yeah,
Yeah. He put a lot of work in that car.
yeah,
And he tracks it a lot.
yeah. I like that color combo, the black with the gold wheels, and I wish we rode with him because I know we stopped at Killboys and you wanted to drive with him, and then for whatever reason it didn't.
Yeah, last year he was up my ass, and so I think that this year would have been. I think I would have been faster, and that would have been my metric
Yeah.
for measuring that. Actually, my favorite car that usually goes there is probably Greg's car.
What's that?
His Dodge Stealth is almost completely custom. He's done everything to it.
What color is it?
It's like a gray metallic color, like almost like a gunmetal gray.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous. And he didn't take it this year, but I think he's planning on taking it next year. It's usually my favorite.
Yeah. So everybody who wants to come,
Chicken's good.
yeah, chicken's the chicken's good. The driving's good.
The vibes are
The
good.
companies are good.
Lazy River's pretty good too.
Lazy River's fun if you can get a raft. you
Yeah,
know.
crucial.
But yeah, it's a good place, man. I had a good time. I appreciate you guys inviting us this year, and I just kind of invited myself for next year and then years
The
after
more
that.
people, the better.
Kind of invited myself too.
Are you gonna come next year? Because I know you bitched a lot about.
Oh yeah.
They might
So-
not have tacos again. I don't know. They don't do the same.
What?
every
Yeah. What
year.
did they have last year for the?
I think it was like burgers, maybe.
and brats.
I was expecting
Burgers
like
and brats?
burgers and stuff like that.
As soon as I got there, I started to feel at home and I was starting to feel good. But then, like anticipating the drive, I was just kind of
Yeah, because when you're in the
a
back
dick
seat,
about it.
Sleeping.
sleeping and not actually driving, it's stressful, man.
Yeah, so crazy.
No
Taking-
Insta updates at 2 a.m. What are you gonna
Taking
do?
naps when you're taking naps when the guy's been driving for 14 hours straight. It's really stressful in the back seat.
Are we there yet? We're still in Virginia.
Yeah.
Talk
Virginia's
about
long.
West Virginia. That's a long ass state.
Yeah, next turn 581 miles. Yeah.
Ooh, talk about
See,
cops,
this is
too.
how you know, because literally we were in West Virginia for 10 minutes.
I was not ready to say that. I didn't say it. We were
So
like,
that's how you
we-
know
we
you're a
crossed
total
into
asshole.
West
It's like
Virginia for like
It's like, no,
4
Virginia
minutes.
was a long ride. Pennsylvania was a long ride. West Virginia was not a long ride. That's how you know you didn't actually drive.
You get a switch next time.
Yeah, we'd be dead.
No, oh no.
Next time you can take Tyler, I'll take Julie.
Oh, there we go.
That's fine with me.
You can
All
let
right,
him
he'll-
monitor your gauges.
Maybe Adam will trust me to drive.
I would probably sleep if you drove.
Yeah, it'd be fine. It'd be okay.
I think next year I think we should seriously
Switch
look
off
into-
trucks. Switch off rigs.
No, I don't want to switch your truck.
Don't worry, we got a new game plan for next year, so
Yeah, we
it'll
already
be
talked about it.
much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might not go together next year, but we'll end up at the same point at the same time. We have a new game plan for next year.
No, it's gonna be my game to beat you guys there then.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I mean, you might, but we're gonna leave early, and then Tuesday we're gonna come back. Like I said,
We should probably do that too, actually.
We cannot do that.
you guys can't
Some
do
of
it.
us have limited PTO.
Yeah.
That's usually the reason.
That's my
Yeah.
reason.
Hey, life
Not
is
all of
about
us
making
have
decisions.
cushy
You either,
jobs
you
like
either
you
need to
do.
take an extra day of PTO or kill your whole family.
If he wasn't such a control freak and let some of us drive, it would be fine.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You do have. She could probably drive.
I've driven
Easily,
every
yeah.
other time. I've towed 100 times. I could drive that truck just as well as he can.
I wasn't tired though.
These guys have never
he was
towed
tired.
before.
He was dozing off. He told me that he needed me to play crossword
Is there an
puzzles
edit
with
button?
him so he could stay awake. He was literally falling asleep.
I was thinking about letting him try and tow, but then this was after the fact. We drove up the street here, and we were going to drive GT4s, and they were all manuals. And he turned over and looked at me and said, "Dad, do you even know how to drive a manual?"
Dude, I was fucking around, okay?
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't. You're 100% serious. It's like that thing, like, at this point, he knew he fucked up. You know, have you ever seen those, like, the videos?
After you watch him row the gears like 3 days in a row on the Dragon.
Yeah.
This automatic is crazy, dog. Like, it's
I thought to myself, at this point, I knew I raised this kid as an asshole. You know? Yeah, no, I don't know how to drive a manual.
I think Dan's
never
kids
done
could
it.
have known that at like 4, 5.
And I will
All
tell
right,
you
yeah,
one
everyone
thing.
just game up on me, okay?
A manual that has auto rev match is like.
Do those
game changer.
GT4s have it?
Yeah.
What?
Which I'm thinking about putting it on the Atom.
I know you can get an auto blip.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
have done it. But it's just like a totally different experience. It's so easy.
Is it when you go to select the gear,
When you put the
it just
clutch in.
knows?
Yeah, when you put the clutch in,
It
it
just
does
goes
it.
to the next gear?
Yeah, it revs. When you press the clutch in, it rev matches to whatever the next gear is lower.
What if you're upshifting?
I don't know. It's
Then you fuck.
Porsche. It knows. It just knows what you're fucking doing. I didn't.
So Porsche.
You know, it's not a Corvette, okay? Fucking knows what it's doing. I didn't ask it. All I know is when I was trying to go down, it knew that I need to be at whatever speed. Okay, probably knows like if you're braking.
Probably
what I
knows
mean?
who's driving it, too.
Yeah.
I believe.
Cars know who's driving it, but it knows probably if you're braking, it goes up, or if you're not. I don't know. Technology.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was super easy. So, all right. I don't know how long we went tonight. I'm hoping it was like 60 minutes, but
Yeah,
probably more.
Ish.
I don't think it was quite 2 hours, so
No, that's fine. I'll edit it good.
improvements.
And then the next podcast is going to be Kevin's track day.
Mr. Webb's car
Fingers-
search.
Fingers
And
crossed.
yeah, Mr. Webb's car search / like cars between 125 and 80 and who's going to hold its value, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of surprising when I looked at it what you can get for that, you know. So all right, thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.
Ciao.
Ciao.